A banker is a fellow who lends you his umbrella when the sun is shining, but wants it back the minute it begins to rain. A burnt child shuns fire until the next day. A classic is something that everybody wants to have read and nobody wants to read. A clear conscience is the sure sign of a bad memory. A dozen direct censures are easier to bear than one morganatic compliment. A full belly is little worth where the mind is starved. A good and wholesome thing is a little harmless fun in this world. It tones a body up and keeps him human and prevents him from souring. A kiss is a thing that requires both hands. A lie can travel around the world and back again while the truth is lacing up its boots. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. A marriage will give a new gladness to the sunshine, a new fragrance to the flowers, a new beauty to the earth, and a new mystery to life. Adam and Eve had many advantages, but the principal one was that they escaped teething. A person with a new idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. Action speaks louder than words, but not nearly as often. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. All generalizations are false, including this one. All good things arrive unto them that wait and don't die in the meantime. Always obey your parents when they are present. All you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. Always do what is right. It will gratify half of mankind and astound the other. An uneasy conscience is a hair in the mouth. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Be careless in your dress if you must, but keep a tidy soul. Be good, and you will be lonesome. Books are for people who wish they were somewhere else. Books are the liberated spirits of men. Both marriage and death ought to be welcome. The one promises happiness, doubtless the other assures it. Civilization is the limitless multiplication of unnecessary necessities. Classic, a book which people praise and don't read. Clothes do not merely make the man, clothes are the man. Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. Conscience, man's moral medicine chest. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Dance like no one is watching. Sing like no one is listening. Live as like it's heaven on earth. Don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. Do something every day that you don't want to do. This is the golden rule for acquiring the habit of doing your duty without pain. Do the right thing. It will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Do the thing you fear most, and the death of fear is certain. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Don't wake up a woman in love. Let her dream so that she does not weep when she returns to her bitter reality. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. Education, the path from cocky ignorance to miserable uncertainty. Drag your thoughts away from your troubles, by the ears, by the heels, or any other way you can manage it. Eat a live frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. Education consists mainly in what we have unlearned. Education is the organized defense of adults against youth. Every time you stop a school, you will have to build a jail. What you gain at one end, you lose at the other. It's like feeding a dog on his own tail. It won't fatten the dog. Everyone is a moon and has a dark side, which he never shows to anybody. Everything has its limit. Iron ore cannot be educated into gold. Fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. For me, there are more important things in life than school. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please. Give every day the chance to become the most beautiful day of your life. Go to heaven for the climate, hell for the company. Good judgment is the result of experience, and experience the result of bad judgment. Grief can take care of itself, but to get the full value of a joy, you must have somebody to divide it with. God created war so that Americans would learn geography. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience, this is the ideal life. Habit is habit, and not to be flung out of the window by any man, but coaxed downstairs a step at a time. Happiness ain't a thing in itself, it's only a contrast with something that ain't pleasant. Humor is mankind's greatest blessing. I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. I can teach anybody how to get what they want out of life. The problem is that I can't find anybody who can tell me what they want. I have never let my schooling interfere with my education. I don't like to commit myself about heaven and hell. You see, I have friends in both places. I have found out there ain't no surer way to find out whether you like people or hate them than to travel with them. I like criticism, but it must be my way. I was seldom able to see an opportunity until it had ceased to be one. I was born modest, but it didn't last. I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. If you have nothing to say, say nothing. If you don't know where you're going, don't be surprised if you end up somewhere else entirely. If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you read the newspaper, you're misinformed. If you pick up a starving dog and make him prosperous, he will not bite you. This is the principal difference between a dog and man. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. If you want love and abundance in your life, give it away. In a good book room, you feel in some mysterious way that you are absorbing the wisdom contained in all the books through your skin, without even opening them. It is easier to stay out than get out. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. It is a good idea to obey all the rules when you're young, just so you'll have the strength to break them when you're old. It is better to deserve honors and not have them than to have them and not deserve them. It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. It is curious that physical courage should be so common in the world and moral courage so rare. Laughter, without a tinge of philosophy, is but a sneeze of humor. Genuine humor is replete with wisdom. It is noble to teach oneself, but still nobler to teach others, and less trouble. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great ones make you feel that you too can become great. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. It is not likely that any complete life has ever been lived which was not a failure in the secret judgment of the person who lived it. It is not likely that there has ever been a civilized person, 65 years old, who would consent to live his life over again. It is your human environment that determines the climate. It is wiser to find out than suppose. It's easy to make friends, but hard to get rid of them. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Let us endeavour so to live, so that when we come to die, even the undertaker will be sorry. Life does not consist mainly, or even largely, of facts and happenings. It consists mainly of the storm of thought that is forever flowing through one's head. Life is at best a dream, and at worst a nightmare from which you cannot escape. Life is purgatory at all times, and a swindle and a crime. Yesterday it was hell. Life is short, break the rules, forgive quickly, kiss slowly, love truly, laugh uncontrollably, and do not regret anything that made you smile. Love is madness. If thwarted, it develops fast. Love is not a product of reasonings and statistics. It just comes none knows whence and cannot explain itself. Love seems the swiftest, but it is the slowest of all growths. No man or woman really knows what perfect love is until they have been married a quarter of a century. Life, we laugh and laugh, then cry and cry, then feebler laugh, then die. Love sharpens all the senses, except the ordinary ones. Loyalty to the nation all the time, loyalty to the government when it deserves it. Man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. Many a small thing has been made large by the right kind of advertising. Marriage, yes, it is the supreme felicity of life. I concede it, and it is also the supreme tragedy of life. The deeper the love, the surer the tragedy, and the more disconsolating when it comes. Never tell the truth to people who are not worthy of it. Man will do many things to get himself loved. He will do all things to get himself envied. Men and women, even man and wife, are foreigners. Each has reserves that the other cannot enter into nor understand. These have the effect of frontiers. Never allow someone to be your priority while allowing yourself to be their option. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Never put off till tomorrow what may be done the day after tomorrow just as well. Nothing so needs reforming as other people's habits. No real gentleman will tell the naked truth in the presence of ladies. Old age does not always bring wisdom. Sometimes it comes alone. Nothing that grieves us can be called little. By the eternal laws of proportion, a child's loss of a doll and a king's loss of a crown are events of the same size. Noise proves nothing. Often a hen who has merely laid an egg cackles as if she laid an asteroid. Of all the animals, man is the only one that is cruel. He is the only one that inflicts pain for the pleasure of doing it. One gets large impressions in boyhood sometimes, which he has to fight against all his life. Our conscience takes no notice of pain inflicted on others until it reaches a point where it gives pain to us. In all cases, without exception, we are absolutely indifferent to another person's pain until his sufferings make us uncomfortable. Principles have no real force except when one is well fed. Only he who has seen better days and lives to see better days again knows their full value. Sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Sanity and happiness are an impossible combination. Some people bring joy wherever they go, and some people bring joy whenever they go. Substitute damn every time you're inclined to write very. Your editor will delete it, and the writing will be just as it should be. Such is life, and the trail of the serpent is over us all. Summer is the time when it is too hot to do the job that it was too cold to do last winter. The best way to cheer yourself is to try to cheer someone else up. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. The more I learn about people, the more I like my dog. The gentle reader will never know what a consummate ass he can become until he goes abroad. The finest clothing made is a person's own skin, but of course society demands something more than this. The man with a new idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. The frankest and freest product of the human mind and heart is a love letter. The writer gets his limitless freedom of statement and expression from his sense that no stranger is going to see what he is writing. The less a man knows, the bigger the noise he makes, and the higher the salary he commands. The funniest things are the forbidden. The human race has only one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. The man who doesn't read good books has no advantage over the man who can't read them. The man who is a pessimist before 48 knows too much. If he is an optimist after it, he knows too little. The more things are forbidden, the more popular they become. The more you explain it, the more I don't understand it. The most beautiful of all secrets is to be a genius and to be the only one to know it. The most interesting information comes from children, for they tell all they know and then stop. The lack of money is the root of all evil. The only very marked difference between the average civilized man and the average savage is that the one is gilded and the other is painted. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks and starting on the first one. The right to stupidity is protected by the Constitution. It is part of the guarantee for the free development of one's personality. The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. The secret of success is making your vocation your vacation. The worst loneliness is to not be comfortable with yourself. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. The difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and the lightning bug. There are basically two types of people: people who accomplish things and people who claim to have accomplished things. The first group is less crowded. The trouble is not in dying for a friend, but in finding a friend worth dying for. There are no people who are quite so vulgar as the over-refined. There are three things men can do with women: love them, suffer them, or turn them into literature. There is a great deal of human nature in people. There is no sadder thing than a young pessimist except an old optimist. There is no such thing as an ordinary life. There is nothing so annoying as a good example. There's nothing wrong setting goals as long as you don't let it keep you from interesting detours. They did not know it was impossible, so they did it. Thousands of geniuses live and die undiscovered, either by themselves or by others. Thunder is good, thunder is impressive, but it is lightning that does the work. Time may heal wounds, but it is a miserable beautician. To get the full value of joy, you must have someone to divide it with. To lodge all power in one party and keep it there is to ensure bad government and the sure and gradual deterioration of the public morals. Training is everything. The peach was once a bitter almond, and the cauliflower is nothing but a cabbage with academic education. Truth is something so precious that politicians use it very sparingly. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. The truth isn't. Truth is the most valuable thing we have. Let us economize it. What would men be without women? Scarce, sir, mighty scarce. We are always more anxious to be distinguished for a talent which we do not possess than to be praised for the 15 which we do possess. What a wee little part of a person's life are his acts and his words. His real life is led in his head and is known to none but himself. Worrying is like paying a debt you don't owe. We can secure other people's approval if we do right and try hard, but our own is worth 100 of it, and no way has been found out of securing that. What do we call love, hate, charity, revenge, humanity, forgiveness? Different results of the master impulse, the necessity of securing one's self-approval. With courage, you will dare to take risks, have the strength to be compassionate, and the wisdom to be humble. Courage is the foundation of integrity. When angry, count 4. When very angry, swear. What is the most rigorous law of our being? Growth. Work as if you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. When all is said and done, the one sole condition that makes spiritual happiness and preserves it is the absence of doubt. When I was 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have him around. When I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. When in doubt, tell the truth. When we remember, we are all mad. The mysteries disappear and life stands explained. Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would have preferred to talk. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Why waste your money looking for your family tree? Just go into politics and your opponents will do it for you. Yes, you are right. I am a moralist in disguise. It gets me into heaps of trouble when I go thrashing around in political questions. When you fish for love, bait with your heart, not with your brain. Work and play are words used to describe the same thing under differing conditions. Wrinkles should merely indicate where the smiles have been. Writing is easy. All you have to do is cross out the wrong words. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. You can't break a bad habit by throwing it out the window. You've got to walk it slowly down the stairs. You can't reason with your heart. It has its own laws and thumps about things which the intellect scorns. You may forget where you buried the peace pipe, but you never forget where the battle axe is. Thank you for watching this video till the end. We hope you found the quotes informative and helpful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated.